Can we talk a little bit about the SEC? Because I watched a little of Kentucky and A&M last night. I watched a little bit of Auburn and Georgia. I mean,
what?
I don't want to pile on Georgia. They just won a football national championship.
Let's just move on.
They're very good at football. Auburn they waxed those guys. I know that Bruce Pearl after the game wasn't thrilled with his team's performance. I thought Kentucky was pretty gutty pulling it out on the road against a Texas A&M team that was unbeaten in the league.
Right.
I know you'd said their schedule was pretty soft,
right,
but still sets up what should be a really good game on Saturday. Who you like in that one? I think Kentucky's kind of undervalued this year in the polls, right, Norlander? They're ranked like 12 or 13. It's a pretty loaded squad.
Yeah, third and KenPom as we speak here on Thursday morning here. Very good squad. I had a column last weekend at CBSSports.com about Kentucky and why recent performances established that this is now a national title / Final Four contender once again. And, yeah, Kentucky didn't have a great game. In fact, it was the first time this season on Wednesday night that Kentucky won a game, and it was by single digits. Texas A&M, it held well. I guess it was more people in the building for an A&M hoops game than it ever had been before. The most well-attended game in Texas A&M basketball history happened on Wednesday night. Kentucky went on the road, got a win. Maybe we save Auburn Kentucky pick for end of the show as we preview the stuff. But to your general topic of the SEC, is a quick scan. Auburn, best team. Kentucky not far behind, and maybe that narrative gets flipped on Saturday. Then you've got LSU, which lost at Alabama on Wednesday night. Will Wade's got a good team. Will Wade's angry this year. He's had 3 or 4 outbursts in games. The way that I haven't normally seen that from him before. And then he got asked about in post-game Zoom media availability. And he was just, he was fired up, talking about fighting for his guys who got to fight for each other. LSU's a legitimate team. It just happens to have dropped its past 2 games. One of those games against Arkansas, which maybe is actually going to prove itself to be decent. It started out hot against a trash schedule, then cratered, and now it's been able to rebound there. But I'd say Auburn, Kentucky, LSU, Tennessee, Bama needed that win on Wednesday. And Nate Oates said it afterward. They needed that win. That's 5. Toss in, those are the 5 to know, and then it's a matter of between A&M, Florida, Arkansas, Mississippi State. That's 9. I think those are the 9 that are going to be in the tournament conversation. The SEC will not send 9 teams. I'm going to tell you right now, I think the SEC is going to send 7 to the NCAA tournament. And what the heck, I'm going to give you the 7. This is my guess. Auburn, Kentucky, LSU, Tennessee, Bama. Those are 5. 6 and 7 will be, give me Mississippi State. I think it somehow squeaks in. Give me Florida as 7. I'll have A&M narrowly missing. Gaudy record, 15-3. Just, again, hasn't done anything against anyone and doesn't have a good offense. We'll see. But I'll say A&M just narrowly misses. Yeah, and I'm going to say Arkansas just narrowly misses. Other teams like Missouri.
You're crazy. Eric Musselman is going to find you. He's going to drive to Connecticut, and he's going to destroy you. I mean, come on.
I could be wrong about it.
Arkansas is going to make the dance.
I could be wrong about it. The opportunities upcoming. Arkansas has A&M at home on Saturday. Significant game for both. Then it's at Ole Miss. Home to West Virginia. That's the SEC Big 12 thing. Every last Saturday in January. That's on January 29. And then at Georgia. Certainly manageable. But yeah, I'm going to say Arkansas and Texas A&M miss, and they're both either 1 or 2 seeds in the NIT. That's just my guess as of today. I'm going to be wrong. Whatever. I tossed it out there for you.
7 teams going to the dance would be a nice year for the SEC. That'd be a really nice year. What about the ACC, man? I know we're going back in the week, but I mean, look, we Serber and I live in North Carolina, so when UNC shits the bed, we hear about it, and they got smoked down in South Florida earlier this week. And look, I'm not piling on Hubert Davis. That's not it's very early in the Hubert Davis era to be like, yo, man, red flag. But I mean, look, Miami's a good team. I know they're not ranked, but UNC's been getting waxed by really good teams. You look at what they've done against the AP Top 25. Not much. And I know Miami's not ranked, but I mean they got it handed to them earlier this week down in South Florida.
Yeah, we'll focus on that game because the ACC is just it's a quagmire at this point. Miami was one of my topics on my every Wednesday notebook called The Court Report that publishes at CBSSports.com. I talked with Jim Larinaga, and I basically highlighted that the Hurricanes they were roped into that whole FBI story originally because they had a connection to Nasir Little, who coincidentally enough wound up going to play at North Carolina. And initially it was thought that, when that day happened and all these schools got mentioned, all these assistants got arrested and all that, Miami was just one of the schools on the outskirts but still connected to it. Eventually, Miami was 100% cleared by the feds in all of this, and it was exonerated. But it took like a year plus for that to happen, and the Hurricanes suffered because of it. They weren't able to recruit. They did not have one high school player in the class of 2018 commit to that program. They lost their NBA talent like Bruce Brown and Lonnie Walker. And amid all of that, the Canes just dropped into national true irrelevancy. Then they had humongous injury issues. And now the point of what I write about in the court report is that Miami has the best record in the ACC. It's back, and if you really go back and look at what Jim Larrañaga did when he got there, Miami was the fourth best team record-wise in the ACC behind Duke, Carolina, Virginia. Until the FBI stuff happened, that was the case. In fact, even the season after that, when they didn't lose their talent initially, that was the case there. Larrañaga had more wins against Duke and Carolina than any other coach in the league except one dude named Tony Bennett. So it's nice to see Miami back in the mix. Not yet ranked, 14-4. I do think that the Hurricanes are probably going to be ranked on Monday so long as they can win at home against Florida State on Saturday. We'll get to that Duke-Florida State game in just a second here. As for Carolina, that's the bigger issue. 12-5 with a 4-2 record right now. Doesn't project as a top 30 to 35 team, so it's underperforming to this point, Hartzell. I do think that Hubert Davis is going to get this team into the tournament because I think that they're going to get enough wins in a workable ACC. The problem is if you really trip up a lot, you're not going to have a lot of results in Quad 1 and Quad 2, or at least opportunities to get those results that you need. It is just the first season. I understand that Carolina fans are a little bit itchy at the moment because, listen, the ACC isn't that good, and you're not commanding a ton of respect in the first season under Hubert. There was just general curiosity. Okay, Hubert's our guy. How's this going to look? And then you look across the way at Wes Miller, who went to Cincinnati, did not get the job, basically finished second for this job. And Cincinnati, I don't think it's going to the tournament, but with a much worse roster and a tougher situation, Wes Miller is overperforming expectations. A lot of this is how we view teams through the prism of what we think they'll be in the first week of November, and then you look up and we're, on the back end of January, and it's like, So some of this is, frankly, sometimes it can be what the media projects onto a team. I'm not saying that we were too high or optimistic on UNC. I don't necessarily think that was the case, but I also don't think the sky is actually falling. UNC is atrocious. Well, not atrocious. They're just disappointing away from home. When they're not in the Dean Dome, it's a problem. And they've got Wake Forest on the road Saturday.
Ooh.
We'll see.
You don't
We'll see
just
if
stroll
Steve.
into the Joel these days.
White out.
You don't just stroll into
Can't
the
stroll
Joel.
into
That's
the Joel.
right. White out
in the Joel.
conditions. That's right.
I've never seen them do that before.
I wonder. I've
lived in Winston-Salem for 22 years. I don't remember ever seeing a whiteout for a basketball game.